Hey, what's up, Doc? Welcome back, everyone, to HTF Bets, your Halloween special for this week. It's that time of year, so of course, we had to bring out the costumes. Of course, I am Bugs Bunny for this special show. We have a great show for you today. Going to dive in with some NBA. We have some football, of course, to go over. We've got fantasy. And then we're going to get into fight night a little bit. We got UFC coming up this weekend, so we are going to cover all of that. So stay with us because it all starts now. Welcome back, everybody. We usually look pretty good with suits up here, but today we got the costumes out. We got Johan, he's
I'm an aerobics instructor.
Aerobics teacher. Then we got our Devil Riley here. My main two co-hosts. Also joining me today is special guest Alex Funderburke, the host of the main show, who he got some Puff the Dragon going on over there. Alex, what's going on?
What's up, man? I'm Alex, the Knicks fan dragon, and if you make me mad or talk about my team in the wrong way, I'm gonna turn you into burnt toast.
Look at that. We actually have the Knicks on the schedule for this show.
Yes. Bing bong.
Yes. Let's see who's going to get roasted today on this show, Alex.
Bing bong.
Before we dive into that, we're going to go into some of our game of the week. So I'll be the only NFL game of the week, and since it was my choice, we got to talk about my Patriots. They just put up 50 last week. How about that? And they're going to the Chargers to take on, they're going to take on the Chargers. Chargers come in at 5.5-point favorites. The over-under is set at 49 points. Now, I think that over-under is ridiculously low with the Patriots' offensive performance last week, and it's definitely inspired by the 6 points the Chargers put up 2 weeks ago against the Ravens.
No, I agree that the spread is way too low. Mac Jones has proven to us that he can put up points in a hurry. Like you said, 56-14 against the Jets, against a fellow rookie quarterback despite Zach Wilson getting hurt. And Mac Jones put up over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, solid outing. But Justin Herbert is that guy. He is that guy, pal. And the 5.5 spread, I honestly think it's a little low. I think it's going to be more towards the 10 to 12 range, and I think the Chargers are just going to have a field day against the Patriots.
See, I disagree. I think the Patriots will maintain. I am not picking.
Out of here.
I am not saying, listen, I am not taking to take the Patriots plus 5.5. What I am saying is take that over 49 100%. The Chargers are averaging 25 points a game this season, so that's right on that 50-point bubble that each team would need to score, the 25. And the Patriots are coming off a week where they just scored 54 points. The offense is clicking for the Patriots. Neither defense is out of this world. There's going to be a lot of points in this.
Yeah, the one thing I'm more interested about in this matchup is the running back battle. So between Austin Eckler and Damian Harris. I mean, Damian Harris just had a monster game. Austin Eckler, of course, we've talked about him before. He's a beast on there. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I get some good points in fantasy.
Alex, what are you thinking about this game over here? What about this spread of 5.5, the over/under? What are you thinking, you dragon?
So you said the over-under is 49, right?
49.
Yep.
The Chargers might beat that by themselves.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a believer in this New England offense. I don't care that you dropped 50. You did it on the Jets, right?
We still did it.
UCF could put 50 on the Jets. So come on now, right? It's the Jets, right? It's the Jets. So I do not care that the Patriots scored 50. They're not going to score 50. They're not going to come close to 50 against the Chargers. No. The Chargers are much better. They're going to cover the spread. They'll win by I'm going to say they're going to win by 3 touchdowns. They'll win by 21.
3 touchdowns.
They're going to score 42, 49, somewhere in there.
I was trying to be nice, too. I was trying to be generous to my host, Tyler, but I agree with you. I honestly think it's going to be a blowout, and I'm sorry, Tyler. I was trying to be generous, but Alex
it's
just
okay.
ignited me.
I agree with Alex, too.
I do not know why he picked this game.
I'm going because that over-under is just too good to not touch. But I'm going to blow all of you out next week on the show when I show you how wrong that you are to go against the Patriots.
Someone's going to end up on the bad takes commercial.
We're gonna jump now. Oh, bad takes commercial. I ain't on it yet because all my takes are good. We're gonna jump from NFL to NBA. We had our first week of NBA last week, and it's so nice to have basketball back. And one of the maybe biggest surprises in the NBA so far, the Bulls, 4-0, one of the only undefeated teams, and it's buzzing in Chicago right now. They have the They have your Knicks. Alex, I'm going to let you start with this. The Knicks are going to Chicago to take on the Bulls. What are you thinking about the matchup?
The Bulls ain't play nobody. Who have the Bulls beat? Like, genuinely. Like, yes, it's impressive. They're 4-0. But okay, cool, whatever. You beat the Pelicans. You want a cookie? Like, you beat them without Zion. Who cares?
It's still, I mean.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Despite them beating a Zion-less Pelicans, a Cade Cunningham-less Pistons team twice, and a Raptors team without Spicy P, they are 4-0 for the first time since the Jordan Pippen and Dennis Rodman era. But like you said, the Knicks, I'm not sleeping on the Knicks either. Julius Randle is leading the Knicks in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. And he's improved since last season. His shooting numbers are up. And this is going to be a great game. I'm taking the Bulls, but the spread is at 1.5, so it could honestly go either way.
No.
And
Hold up. Bet the house on the Knicks.
Thank you. Bet your entire savings on the Knicks.
Johan
please.
is 0-2 when he says that this season.
No, I'm 1-1 because the Raiders
Sorry.
won. Yeah, whatever. Fact check. But bet your entire savings. The Knicks are looking good so far. Evan Fournier has impressed me. I didn't think that was going to be a good signing, but he's been doing really well. He's been pretty consistent as of late, and then our guard depth is really good. Like it's just so good right now, especially when Kemba and Evan Fournier, go on the bench. Derrick Rose, Emmanuel quickly. We have
huge credit to Tom
depth.
Thibodeau for figuring out how to make Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker fit well together because they've both been playing.
Yeah.
They haven't been putting up crazy numbers, but these are two over 30-year-old point guards who are very offense reliant on their game, and they've been playing great. They've been meshing well together. Huge credit to Tom Thibodeau, but the Bulls' defensive rating is 93 per 100 possessions.
Because they haven't
despite who they're playing,
anyone.
despite who they're playing in the NBA today, with how high-powered offenses are, that's impressive. I don't care who they're playing.
I agree, and that's what the bet to take. It's not the spread because it's too close. It's no over/under. Is that Julius Randle is going to have under 23.5 points because Patrick Williams is going to lock him up.
How much? How much you say?
Under 23.5.
No.
Take that under. But
no.
Now we're going to go from the Bulls, which is a big surprise with some really exciting players on their team, into another one in the Charlotte Hornets, where LaMelo Ball. I'm going to let someone else talk about this.
I don't even want to talk about LaMelo Ball. My Miles Bridges.
you.
My goodness. I was looking at the most improved player odds before the show today. Miles Bridges isn't even on the list, and I have no idea why. He scored 30 points 3 times in 5 games, but like you said, the Hornets have probably been the most entertaining team to watch this season, and going against the Heat, who has been another dominant defensive team. I mean, this is going to be a great game.
The thing about the Hornets is that it's the first time, I think, in franchise history where it looks like they have a clear direction for the franchise. There's no identity crisis.
Right.
There's not they're not confused on where they're trying to be. They're not trying to be a 7th seed ceiling. Like they're trying to build for the future, and it's really exciting to see what they're doing with that organization.
Yeah, and like Riley, like you said, you brought up Miles Bridges. I'm so happy that you did. He's averaging 26 on 50% shooting, 39 from 3, and he's still shooting 90% from the free throw line. He is almost in that exclusive 50-40-90 club.
Right.
So, and I was worried that it was just going to be a LaMelo show on here. So I'm happy that we're level-headed. Alex, do you think that the Hornets have enough of a supporting cast around LaMelo? Because that's been a big thing coming into the season, was MJ couldn't put the right guys around him to actually compete.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they need to trade for anyone. I think the guys that they have now will be a good supporting cast, but not this year. They're gonna be flashy. They're gonna be really fun to watch, but don't expect them to make some magical playoff run this year.
No,
next year and the year after that, they're going to be a major player in the Eastern Conference.
I agree with this.
Yeah.
This is a team of a lot of young, not stars yet, but will be stars. And I think teams like the Heat, who they play tonight, are going to be really hard for them to beat in the playoffs. And let's talk about the Heat. I honestly don't even think they've. I know it's obviously early, 5 games, 6 games, but they haven't even touched their ceiling. Their offense has been a little stalemate at times. They're 27th in the league in 3-point shooting. But that defense, oh my goodness.
The defense is
my goodness.
So an interesting stat that we saw before the show, their defense has been something, and Duncan Robinson is actually leading leading the team in blocks at half a block a game. I haven't noticed that Bam is just nowhere to be found in the paint, apparently.
I mean, it's not that his numbers aren't there, but it's what is beyond the box score, honestly. He's contesting shots. He's making shots difficult for opposing offenses in the paint.
Yeah.
And I think his block numbers will get there. And, I mean, we've seen the Heat always turn it on in the middle of the season.
Right.
I'm not worried at all. I mean, they're 3-1.
Yeah, no, and I agree. They have had a hot start. I think that they really will find their groove, 30 games into the season.
Right.
That's when they really get rolling. But, Alex, a big reason that we brought you on today, you're a big MLB guy. And we are currently in the World Series. The Astros are going to the Braves tomorrow night for Game 3. The Astros are still favored by 1.5. Is that accurate?
I don't think so. I mean, look, the Braves got Ian Anderson pitching tomorrow. And I trust Ian Anderson in Atlanta. He's going to get it done. The Braves are going to go up 2-1, and I still like my Braves in 6 prediction.
I'm actually going against it. I think that the Astros, I don't know whether they cover that spread or not. We'll see. I do think that the Astros win this game with Luis Garcia on the mound for them. He killed my Red Sox, and he in Game 6, a little over 5 innings, only gave up 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. I think he stays hot versus the Braves, who are also really hot. I think he gives up some runs, but I think that for the most part he can manage it. And then Jose Altuve has not been great in this series. I think tonight is where he comes out. He's going to have a home run, a couple RBIs, and this is where he's going to take his 200 batting average and turn it up completely.
He doesn't have the trash cans anymore. He's not going to be good.
Oh, blame it on the trash cans. You guys don't want to put any input in on this game.
Go
Braves.
Braves.
Trash cans?
Go Braves.
Go Braves.
Go Braves. Braves in 7.
No. I think the Astros, like I said, I'm still confident in them. Yes, they did cheat and have the trash cans for their last World Series run. However, like I said, I think Altuve turns it up tonight. The Astros go up 2-1, and I think that they end up taking it in 6 or 7. That's all the time that we have for this segment. Stay with us after the commercial break. We're going to dive into fantasy football and fantasy basketball that we have going on here at the HTF Network. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I'm going to go Yankees 4-1. I think Garrett Cole's going to give them 7 shutout. It's Garrett Cole. I trust him in this type of situation.
2-1 pitch.
The Yankees lost to Boston in the wild card game, and I told Johnny if my boys lose, I'd come on the show in this.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
UCF keeps the 30 points per game streak alive. I'm going to go 35-10. UCF wins.
Welcome back, everyone. Fantasy is here. We have fantasy football and basketball going on at HTFN, and it's super exciting. Way to bring on Coach Guessmiles on for this one. To talk about just as briefly about fantasy football. This is Kyle DeWitt hosting Nighttime.
Yeah, I had to be on. I mean, I'm 6-1. I'm number 1 in the HTF Fantasy Football League.
That.
I have to be on for fantasy football at least once this year because I'm just better than you guys. It's just how it goes.
Just better. So he's 6-1. I'm 5-2, and then there's everyone else. That's pretty much all that you guys really need to know
who
about.
Beat you? Oh, who beat you?
And Kyle did beat me as well as Johnny.
Who beat you though? Who beat you?
And Johnny.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I beat you, so it doesn't matter.
There's a lot going around right now, but We're going to show you the results from last week, starting with Kyle DeWitt with Juju's Dance Crew is still your team name. You got to change that. I hate it. 165 over Johnny Jackson, scoring 120. Riley Shepard picked up a win, something he doesn't see much of nowadays. Whoa. He beat Kayla. Alex Funderburke picked up the dub over Hannah Jo. Alex, we said last week on the show, if you beat Hannah Jo, there are going to be issues. So we need to talk after the show because that's just not cool. That's Hannah Jo. I picked up the win over Johan here. He was talking all week, and
it was a sad day.
I let him bark. He told me to pick up the Lions defense.
And you didn't.
No, and I didn't.
You would have killed me if you picked them up.
I would have gotten 3 less points, actually. Miami didn't do much better, but I still beat you there. And Ross with the slight 6-point victory over Austin. Austin, sorry, bud. Your season's starting to get away from you a little bit.
He's been falling off the map a little bit. I mean, Ross is actually starting to pick things up. I know Ross has only been on one show on bets, but he's sleeping. He's sleepy good right now.
It's been matchups for him. Like he scored 114 this last week. Like that's just not going to get it done. I mean, I was only at 126.
Against Austin Walker gets it done.
Right. Yeah. All right, so we're going to transition now into fantasy basketball. Of course, we're Riley. We got him over on the green screen right now. He's going to show you his top 5 ads for fantasy basketball for the first time this season.
Thank you, Tyler. Even though the little shot at me, even though I've been 2-1 the last 3 weeks, my one loss being to Johan, but I am averaging 150 the last 3 weeks. I'm hitting my little mid-season stride. Now, fantasy basketball, there are a lot of sleepers in basketball that, won't really show up until maybe halfway through the season, but there have been some guys that have really turned it on these first 5 games. Number 1, we're going to go with our hometown guy, Mo Bamba. Wendell Carter and him playing together in Orlando was going to be very intriguing going into the season. I was very interested to see how they were going to mesh, but he's been playing great on both sides of the ball, putting up around 13 and 10 with 2 threes a game, but where he's been best has been the interior defense. He is a great center to pick up if you're a little weak with your centers, but he's a great one, and he's going to be getting even better. This is a make-or-break season for him, so definitely pick him up if you have the chance. At number 2, if you've been following basketball at all the last week and a half, you know about Chris Duarte. He is a very good rookie. He was a 6th-year senior at Oregon, but he is a front-runner for Rookie of the Year so far. And I'm pretty sure Tyler picked him up in our league, but this guy can just score anywhere on the floor. A lot of his buckets have been with a hand in his face. He knows how to score the basketball, so definitely worth the investment. Number 3, I have the guy from Memphis, Desmond Bane. He has been a great 2-guard for the Grizzlies alongside John Morant, where he's been a little overshadowed. Obviously, John Morant has been averaging 35 points per game through 6 games this season, but I picked up Desmond Bane last week, and he has been so great for me, so definitely worth it. At number 4, I'm going with the Philly guy, Tyrese Maxey. With Ben Simmons out, Tyrese Maxey is going to continue to produce. He still hasn't been shooting great, but he's still a great 2-guard, and as long as Ben Simmons is out, he's going to be worth your money. And number 5, my guy, Ricky Rubio. I am a huge Ricky Rubio fan. He's always been one of the most high IQ guys in the league. And even with a lesser role, he's still putting up 14 and 9 in 28 minutes. Definitely worth a point guard spot.
See, Riley, I like your list. I do. I don't really have any major problems. I am worried about Mo Bamba's health just because he is at his size and his stature. He's a health reliability out there on the court. So I am a little bit worried about that. But I'm more disappointed. It's like you just watched who I picked up last week and threw him on this list. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, Ricky Rubio, picked them both up last week. It's like, yeah.
And I picked up Mo Bamba and Chris Duarte.
I mean, honestly, I don't blame you for the auto draft. Like, you had to pick up who you needed, like, in free agency. So the auto draft really got you. So I did look at who you picked up a little bit because you did get Chris Duarte. He was honestly, after the first game, I was like, wow. Like, I was honestly impressed. I knew he was going to be good coming out of Oregon, but honestly, great pickup for that.
It's not Riley's top 5 ads, it's his wish list.
Yeah.
It's his wish list.
His wish list.
I did get Desmond Bane, but no, like you said, Tyler made a wise choice. He always is looking at my list before the show, so I don't blame him for who he picked up.
I love everyone on the list except for Desmond Bane. Why? Talk about DeAnthony Melton, 6-man. Like, come on, dude. He's putting up more points than Desmond Bain, and he's actually the best. He's actually a front runner for 6-man of the year through 5 games.
Riley,
Anthony Melton has been playing great.
You did snub someone, though. You did snub someone. Where's Franz Wagner in the list? You know, he's been really good this season.
My thing with Desmond Bain is he was only a rookie last year, and he still hasn't been playing great basketball. His three-point numbers are down, which honestly is hard to top after being 13th in the league in three-point percentage as a rookie. But he's going to keep getting better. He knows how to score anywhere on the floor. His defense is honestly underrated. So I think he's just going to keep getting better.
Let's transition now. We want to show you all the Week 1 results of the Fantasy Basketball League. Starting with Johnny faced off against Cliff, the defending champ, if I'm not mistaken, of the Fantasy Basketball League. Yeah. Ross, he picked up the dub over Kayla, who couldn't even crack 700 points, which was interesting. Kyle, he's 1-0 in fantasy basketball. Picked up the dub over Luca. Alex, I did have him on the show today, and he's been talking trash because he did beat me. I had to auto draft a little bit, so I'm still figuring out how to work with Zion, Ben Simmons, and Kyrie all on my lineup.
Ben Simmons really put up points.
Yeah, he's been doing great.
Putting up points right now.
Johan, he picked up the victory over Austin. And
I'm sorry, boss. I had to.
Hannah Jo beating Riley. Hannah Jo, she's sneaky. She's sneaky in these fantasy leagues. You don't think she's going to come for you. Then out of nowhere, she's up 50 points on you from nowhere. So
it's because Riley couldn't get his wish list. That's why he didn't.
Right, it's true. And Karis LeVert hurt me, but I match up with Hannah in football this week, so I hope to get my revenge.
There we go. Well, we will keep you guys updated on fantasy basketball and fantasy football next week. However, the show is not over yet. The fighting has just begun because we got coming up after the break UFC fights. So we will dive into that. Stay with us.
I'm in charge of the meeting this week. So you know what we're going to talk about? Basketball. The second thing we're going to talk about this week is basketball. Okay? And the third and last thing we're going to talk about is basketball.
Yeah. God, yeah. It's ridiculous. I want to quit. Can I quit? Take that.
Look at the screen. What are we talking about this week?
Basketball.
Welcome back, everybody. It is fight night. We've got UFC 267 coming up this weekend. We're going to dive into the main event, the light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. We're going to go over Johan. I tried my best on those names. He's going to tell you what's up with these guys.
Jan Blachowicz, the UFC light heavyweight champion, he has the power to change the trajectory of an entire fight. He also has something called Polish power, which is an acronym for his Polish native, his heritage. But not only that, but he has pretty good takedown defense, which he's going to need against Glover Teixeira. Now listen, Glover Teixeira is an ageless wonder. He just turned 42 years old, and he's getting his title shot this Saturday, which is unbelievable. But his ability to withstand punishment helps him implement his game plan, which is to fight on the ground and wear his opponents down. Once he gets past that first threshold of punishment, he's able to take you down, use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to grind you out, and pretty much tire you out throughout the 25-minute fight.
Mm-hmm. So Jan is coming in at a minus 310 favorite to win this fight tonight. I don't know much about either of the two fighters. However, I do know Blachowicz did deliver when he beat Israel Adesanya a couple of months ago, back at, I think it was 255 or something like, or one of the 250s. Did beat Izzy, which was a very impressive victory. I remember watching that fight, and it did end up going to submission, but it was a no-brainer that was Blachowicz's fight.
Well, I mean, people really underestimate the light heavyweight division because there's not a lot of name power in there, and there's a lot of European people. Since John Jones since John Jones left the division, they were just like, who cares about the light heavyweight division? But don't sleep on them. And Jan Blachowicz is now getting the recognition he deserves as a champion. Defeating Israel Adesanya, who was undefeated at the time, that's very key to his star power and to his credibility as a champion. And I think the spread is very accurate. I mean, he is a dangerous guy. Before Adesanya, he stopped his last 3 opponents. So that's very accurate.
Do you see this fight going the distance, or do you think it's going to be cut early?
I think Blachowicz is going to knock him out, to be honest.
I agree. Going on to the bantamweight fight, Petr Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. Go ahead.
Again, I mean, one of the best bantamweight fights you can put on this year. Petr Yan has the best boxing in the UFC so far. He's able to make adjustments during the fight. He is a slow starter, which could hurt him because Corey Sandhagen is a fast starter and he's a creative striker. So that one's going to be very interesting to call. But I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Corey Sandhagen in this one.
So Jan actually comes in as a minus 235 favorite. So I didn't see the odds on Sandhagen. But there you go. Listen to Johan when it comes to this stuff. I actually do have a bet for this one, but the lightweight fight tonight, or on Saturday night, Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. So I'm actually going to start with this. Islam he's a minus 630 favorite, very heavy favorite. When it comes to watching UFC fights, I like to pick the bets that have a big upside. You're most likely not going to hit it, but if you do, it's making your week. It's making your month. I'm going with Islam to win by submission in either the second or third round. The second round plus 700, and the third round plus 1,200.
Look at this, Tyler, doing a prediction that I actually agree with.
Wow.
Listen, Islam Makhachev is Khabib 2.0. He's really good with his sambo, and he has a better striking game than Khabib. Listen, Dan Hooker's tough, but no one's going to get past that wrestling of Islam Makhachev. So I see it going in the third round by submission.
So definitely not the distance.
No, not that one
actually,
either.
Going the distance, I believe it was a minus 125 or something. It wasn't a crazy.
It can go either way because he has a grind out style, but he finished his last 2 opponents, so I can see a third one.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what. Yeah, he's been finished. Right, he's gonna get it that second or third round. It's gonna be a payday. So let's take a look to pick that fight. Finishing off the show, we have Surefire Bet of the Week, Riley's least favorite part of the show, and me and Johan, we've been winning out here. I'm currently at 7-1 after my Titans pick last week. Johan sit at 3-1.
Undefeated, man, 3-0.
Riley is at 3-5 on the year. And we're actually gonna have Kyle. I'll let you start it because we have Kyle on for his first Surefire Bet of the Week. So Kyle, take it away.
We're gonna go Spartanburg. I'm gonna go Michigan State to cover the spread and actually win outright over Michigan. Michigan's a 4-point favorite. I'm gonna take Michigan State to win outright.
Wow,
but I'm also going to win in fantasy football this week, so I got 2.
That's a big surefire bet for a big game. Mine is going to be, I'm going back to the Titans. They are a 1-point underdog in Indianapolis this week versus the Colts. Put some respect on the Titans' name. Surefire bet +1 Titans.
All right, UFC 267 undercard. The second fight, Damir Usmagulov versus Magomed Mustafayev. Pick Ismagulov. He is going to be the next contender in his division. He's at 20-1 right now. He's the next top prospect.
All right.
Get it going, man.
All right, please.
Give us
Detroit sports, you have let me down my entire life, and I'm going to please lose to the Nets on Sunday. It's going to be their 3rd game in 4 nights. Please, I'm begging you. Please get me back on track.
All right.
Nets money line.
This is why Riley's about to go to 3-6. But that's all the time that we have for the show today. Thank you for joining us on this special Halloween edition. Thank you, Alex and Kyle, for joining us. But we will see you all next week. Happy Halloween.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000.